Introduction: A Journey of Transformation. Mel Robbins' The Let Them theory presents a powerful framework for personal growth and improved relationships, centered on the idea of relinquishing the need to control others and instead focusing on one's own actions and reactions. The book begins with Robbins' personal story of overcoming significant financial debt, unemployment, and crippling anxiety. At 41, she found herself $800,000 in debt and her husband's restaurant business failing. This period of intense struggle led her to develop the 5-second rule, a simple technique of counting backward from 5 to 1 to spur herself into action and break the cycle of procrastination and avoidance. This rule became the catalyst for turning her life around, enabling her to take small, consistent steps toward rebuilding her career and financial stability. The 5-second rule gained widespread attention after Robbins shared it in a TEDx talk, which went viral and became one of the most watched of all time. The success of the rule, which has been used by millions for everything from overcoming fear to improving health and launching businesses, highlighted a universal struggle with motivation. Robbins' journey from a struggling life coach to the most booked female speaker in the world underscores the book's core message: action is the antidote to problems, and you must be the one to save yourself. However, the 5-second rule primarily addresses internal battles with oneself. Robbins realized that a significant source of her own hesitation and stress stemmed from worrying about and trying to manage other people's opinions, actions, and expectations. This realization led to the development of the Let Them theory, a concept that transformed her relationships with others in the same way the 5-second rule transformed her relationship with herself. The theory, encapsulated in the simple phrase "let them," is about freeing oneself from the burden of trying to control the uncontrollable and reclaiming personal power to focus on what truly matters: one's own life, dreams, and happiness. The book is structured to guide the reader through understanding and applying the Let Them theory in various aspects of life, from managing daily stressors to navigating complex relationship dynamics. It is filled with relatable stories, scientific research, and actionable takeaways designed to be easy to understand and implement. Robbins promises that by embracing the Let Them philosophy, readers will experience a profound sense of liberation and empowerment, leading to easier lives and better relationships. The genesis of the Let Them theory. The Let Them theory was born from a surprisingly mundane event, a high school prom. Robbins found herself getting increasingly stressed and controlling over the last-minute preparations for her son Oakley's prom, from his tuxedo to his pre-prom plans. Her anxiety peaked when her son and his friends, a group of 20, had no dinner reservations and planned to go to a small taco joint in a downpour. As she scrambled to find an alternative, her daughter Kendall intervened with a simple yet profound piece of advice: "Mom, if Oakley and his friends want to go to a taco bar for pre-prom, let them." This simple phrase was a revelation for Robbins, immediately dissolving her tension and making her realize the futility of trying to manage a situation that wasn't hers to control. This experience sparked a shift in Robbins' approach to life. She began applying Let Them to all sorts of daily annoyances and frustrations, from sold-out bagels to family disagreements, and found it to be incredibly liberating. The theory's power was so immediate and profound that she shared it in a short video online, which quickly garnered millions of views and led to a viral podcast episode, news articles, and even tattoos of the phrase "let them." This overwhelming response prompted Robbins to delve deeper into the science behind the theory, consulting with experts in psychology, neuroscience, and human behavior. Her research revealed that the Let Them theory aligns with ancient philosophies like Stoicism and Buddhism, as well as modern therapeutic concepts such as radical acceptance and detachment theory. It all boils down to a fundamental law of human nature: we have an innate need for control, but we can never truly control another person. Trying to do so creates unnecessary stress and friction. A crucial discovery in her research was that the theory is a two-part equation: let them plus let me. Let them is about releasing the need to control others, but let me is the empowering second step where you take responsibility for your own response and actions. This two-part process creates a balanced approach, preventing the isolation that can come from simply detaching from others. The let me component is about self-awareness, compassion, and taking control of what you can actually change, yourself. The seesaw analogy illustrates this dynamic perfectly. When you internalize others' actions and feel inferior, you give them power, and your end of the seesaw goes down. Saying let them helps you rise above the situation, but can lead to a sense of superiority and isolation if you stop there. It's the let me that brings the seesaw back to balance, fostering acceptance, understanding, and true control by focusing on your own actions and responsibilities. This balanced approach is the key to not only improving your own life but also transforming your relationships for the better. You and the Let Them theory. The book dedicates a significant section to applying the let them theory to personal challenges, particularly in managing stress, overcoming the fear of others' opinions, dealing with emotional reactions, and conquering chronic comparison. Managing stress. Robbins asserts that life is inherently stressful, filled with countless minor annoyances that can drain our energy and peace of mind. The let them theory offers a powerful tool to protect our most valuable resources, time and energy, from these daily stressors. The key is to recognize that our reaction to stressful situations is what truly matters, not the situations themselves. Dr. Aditi Nerurkar, a Harvard physician, explains that stress is a physiological state that hijacks the brain, shifting control from the prefrontal cortex, responsible for planning and decision-making, to the amygdala, the center of the stress response. Living in a chronic state of stress, as many people do, means being in constant fight, flight, or freeze mode, which hinders our ability to be happy, focused, and patient. The let them theory acts as a reset switch for this stress response. The moment you say let them, you signal to your brain that the situation isn't worth stressing over, and following it with let me and a deep breath helps to calm the body and brain, allowing you to regain control. This simple practice empowers you to choose your response instead of being hijacked by your emotions. This principle applies not just to minor irritations but also to more significant stressors like workplace issues. For instance, if you're being strung along for a promotion, Robbins advises to let them do so, because you can't control their decision. Instead of letting the stress consume you, the let me part of the equation prompts you to take responsibility for your own career by updating your resume, networking, and seeking better opportunities. This shifts the control back to you. Fearing other people's opinions. A major roadblock in many people's lives is the fear of what others think. This fear leads to self-censorship, procrastination, and perfectionism, ultimately preventing us from pursuing our true desires. The let them theory offers a revolutionary approach: give people the freedom to think whatever they want about you. Robbins argues that trying to control others' opinions is futile, as it's neurologically impossible to control another person's thoughts. In fact, it's healthy to assume that people will have negative thoughts about you, just as you have them about people you love. The key is to not let these opinions dictate your life. A powerful aspect of this is making decisions that make you proud of yourself. When you act in alignment with your own values, the opinions of others become less significant. This doesn't mean being selfish, but rather balancing your needs with the expectations of others, and making choices that you can stand by, regardless of the outcome or others' reactions. This principle is particularly relevant in family dynamics, which are often fraught with expectations and judgment. Using the concept of frame of reference, introduced by Lisa Bilyeu, can help in understanding why family members have certain opinions, even if you don't agree with them. By stepping into their shoes and understanding their lived experiences, you can foster compassion and connection, even in disagreement. Dealing with someone else's emotional reactions. Adults are often just as emotional as children, and it's not your responsibility to manage their reactions. Allowing others' emotional immaturity, guilt trips, pouting, passive-aggressive behavior, to dictate your choices will always leave you coming in last. Robbins, citing her therapist and Davin, suggests visualizing the 8-year-old version of the adult who is having a tantrum. This helps to cultivate compassion rather than contempt, and to recognize that their behavior stems from an inability to process emotions healthily, which is not your problem to solve. When faced with such behavior, the approach is to let them have their reaction and then let me be the mature adult in the situation, setting boundaries and protecting your own emotional well-being. It's also crucial to recognize when you might be the one exhibiting emotional immaturity and to apply the theory to yourself: let them, the emotions, rise, and then let me not react, allowing the feelings to pass without acting on them. This applies even to the most difficult decisions, like ending a relationship. The right decision often feels wrong because of the emotional pain it will cause others. However, avoiding these decisions only leads to more pain in the long run. The let them theory provides the strength to make these tough choices, to ride the emotional wave of guilt and discomfort, and to trust that both you and the other person will eventually be okay. Overcoming chronic comparison. Life isn't fair, and obsessing over what others have is a form of self-torture that drains motivation and fosters a sense of failure. The let them theory encourages acceptance of this fact and a shift in perspective. There are two types of comparison, torture and teacher. Comparison as torture involves fixating on things you can't change, such as someone's natural beauty, family background, or innate talents. Engaging in this kind of upward comparison is detrimental to self-esteem and happiness. The solution is to let them have these attributes and to focus on your own unique life. Comparison as a teacher, on the other hand, is a goldmine. This is when you look at aspects of someone else's life that you could create for yourself with time and effort, such as a successful career, a healthy lifestyle, or financial freedom. In this case, jealousy is an invitation from your future self, showing you what's possible and providing a formula for success. Let them lead the way, and let me get to work, using their success as inspiration rather than a reason for defeat. Your relationships and the let them theory. The second half of the book delves into applying the let them theory to the intricate dynamics of adult relationships, including friendships, motivating others, supporting those who are struggling, and finding the love you deserve. Mastering adult friendship. Adult friendship is challenging because, unlike in childhood and adolescence where friendships are often a group sport facilitated by shared environments, adult friendships are an individual sport that requires proactive effort. The great scattering that occurs in one's 20s and at various other life stages means that friends move to different places, are on different timelines, and have different priorities. Robbins identifies 3 pillars of friendship: proximity, timing, and energy. Proximity refers to how often you are physically near someone, which is crucial for building the hours of connection needed for a close friendship. Timing is about being in the same chapter of life, which makes it easier to relate and share experiences. Energy is the intangible click you have with some people and not others. When friendships fade, it's often because one or more of these pillars is no longer in place, and it's usually not personal. The let them theory encourages a flexible and proactive approach to adult friendships. Let them move away, prioritize new friends, or not have time for you. The let me part is about taking responsibility for your social life. This means going first, being the one to say hello, to compliment someone, to ask them for coffee. It's about building a network of weak ties, the familiar faces in your daily life, which creates a sense of community and can lead to deeper connections. Motivating other people to change. A common frustration is wanting someone you care about to change for the better. However, people only change when they feel like changing, and pressuring them is counterproductive. It works against the fundamental human need to feel in control of one's own decisions. Drawing on the work of experts like Dr. Alok, Dr. K. Kanogia, and Dr. Tali Sharot, Robbins explains that humans are wired to move toward what feels good now and avoid what is painful. Change is often hard and painful in the short term, which is why people resist it. Furthermore, people have an optimism bias, believing that negative consequences won't happen to them, which is why threats and warnings are often ineffective. The solution is to let them be and instead use the power of your influence. This means modeling the behavior you want to see and making it look fun and easy. To take it a step further, Robbins introduces the ABC loop. A. Apologize for pressuring them, then ask open-ended questions to help them explore their own feelings about the issue. B. Back off and observe their behavior, giving them space to come to the idea of change on their own. C. Celebrate any progress while you continue to model the change. This approach, rooted in motivational interviewing and the science of positive reinforcement, is far more effective than pressure at inspiring lasting change. Helping someone who is struggling. When someone is struggling with serious issues like addiction or mental health problems, let them doesn't mean abandoning them. It means recognizing the difference between supporting and rescuing. The more you try to rescue someone, the more you may be enabling their self-destructive behavior and preventing them from finding their own strength to heal. Allowing people to face the natural consequences of their actions is a necessary part of recovery. This is particularly true when it comes to financial support. Unconditional love does not mean unconditional financial support. Providing money without conditions can be a form of enabling, while offering it with clear conditions, e.g., attending therapy, seeking treatment, is a form of support. Ultimately, people only heal when they are ready to do the work for themselves. Your role is not to fix them, but to create an environment that supports their healing. This can mean doing practical things like cleaning their apartment, bringing them a meal, or simply being a beacon of hope and belief in their ability to get better, without taking over their struggle. Choosing the love you deserve. In the realm of romantic relationships, the let them theory is about choosing love rather than chasing it. It's about letting people's behavior show you who they are and how they feel about you, and having the courage to walk away when you're not being treated the way you deserve. Dating is not just about finding the one, but also about learning about yourself and what you want in a relationship. If someone is sending mixed signals, it's a clear sign they are not as interested as you'd like them to be. Chasing the potential of what a relationship could be instead of accepting the reality of what it is will only lead to heartache. For those in committed relationships, the theory is about loving the person for who they are now, not who you wish they would become. While compromise is necessary, you should never have to give up your core values or dreams for a relationship to work. If you find yourself at an impasse over a non-negotiable issue, you have to decide if it's a deal breaker. This leads to the D part of the ABC loop. Decide if it's a deal breaker, and then either end your complaining and accept them as they are, or end the relationship. Finally, the book emphasizes that the most important relationship you will ever have is the one with yourself. You are the love of your life. The let them theory is ultimately about letting others be themselves so that you can finally let me be yourself, to prioritize your own happiness, pursue your dreams, and set the standard for how you deserve to be treated in all your relationships. Conclusion: Your Let Me era. The conclusion of the let them theory is a powerful call to action. It reiterates that the book is not about other people, but about you and the power you hold to shape your own life. By trying to control the uncontrollable, the weather of other people's actions and opinions, you have been giving away your power and wasting precious time and energy. The cost of not using the let them theory is a life lived in reaction to others, filled with missed opportunities and unfulfilled potential. The book urges you to stop making excuses and to realize that you are no different from those who have achieved extraordinary things. They have simply learned not to let the world derail their dreams. The time has come to reclaim your power by taking responsibility for your own happiness, energy, and actions. It's time to enter your let me era. Let me get started, let me take a risk, let me be honest about what I want, let me create a better life. The power to create the life and love you deserve has always been within you, and with the tools provided in this book, you are now equipped to take it back.